Hello. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Neeraj Periwal. I'm a marketing coordinator here at eFolder, and I'm your host for today's event. Welcome to the eFolder Expert Series. This webinar series brings together experts from eFolder staff and partner community for deep dive discussions on key service and technical topics. Today's presentation is all about 5 security features that are missing from consumer-grade file sync services. Today we are joined by Carlo Tapia, Product Marketing Manager at eFolder. Now before going into today's agenda, I'd like to cover a few housekeeping items. Today's session is being recorded. The recorded version of the webinar will be made available on our YouTube channel, and we will also make copies of the slides available for download for those who want to use them later. With over 100 people registered for today's session, we have put all participants in listen-only mode. You can enjoy the audio portion of today's event by streaming it on your computer or by dialing in over the phone. Now today's webinar follows a logical flow. After introducing our guest, Carlo Tapia, we will take a look at some tech trends that are shaping the way that your clients work. I'll briefly introduce eFolder Anchor, our business-grade file sync and share solution, and then we're going to look at 5 security features that are offered by Anchor that aren't in consumer-grade file sync products like Dropbox or OneDrive. Carlo is then going to give you a live demo to show you these 5 security features in action, and we'll answer any questions you may have. Now, while we have planned a special Q&A section at the end of today's webinar, questions are strongly encouraged throughout. You may submit them as we go along, and we'll try to answer them on the fly. Now let me introduce Carlo Tapia. Carlo Tapia is the Product Marketing Manager at eFolder. Here at eFolder, Carlo is responsible for product marketing across all 7 of eFolder's product lines. Prior to working at eFolder, Carlo worked at Anchor, which was subsequently acquired by eFolder, and which created a product that we're going to be talking about today. And he also worked before Anchor at Trainer Communications, a public relations firm based in San Francisco. Carlo, thank you for joining us and welcome.
Neeraj, thanks for having me.
Of course. So now I'd like to go over some tech trends that we've all seen are influencing the marketplace. Just a couple months, actually last month, a couple months ago, Dropbox announced that they have 400 million users and 8 million businesses using the solution. Now, we all know that Dropbox is kind of a poster child for file sync. Consumers love it. Business owners think that it's savvy, and business owners have adopted consumer-grade file sync in droves. Now, some of these include Dropbox, OneDrive, and Google Drive. Now, while these services are really easy to use and probably really great for home use, for things like photos and simple documents that you want to transfer from, say, your laptop to your desktop, let's say a school report, they're not really built with the enterprise in mind or with businesses in mind. And there are a lot of risks that your clients are taking if they're taking Dropbox or OneDrive or Google Drive and bringing them into the workplace. Now, these risks include data theft, data loss, corrupted data, lawsuits due to data being shared with people that it shouldn't be shared with, compliance violations, especially for clients that are in sensitive verticals like the medical vertical who have to adhere to HIPAA, lack of accountability, and loss of file access because there's no organizational oversight into what files are being shared and synced by employees. So it's very clear that there's a need for a business-grade file sync solution for businesses. And we have a solution which we call Anchor. Now, Anchor allows your clients to work across any device, with anyone, with any content, just like Dropbox, just like OneDrive, and just like Google Drive, but importantly, without compromising the security and control that your clients need. So Anchor, is incredibly simple to use, and yet offers very sophisticated features for business owners and MSPs who are deploying it to their clients. So now I'm just going to go ahead and dive into our topic for today, which is 5 security features missing from consumer-grade file sync. The first thing I'm going to talk about is secure sharing. So Anchor allows you to do a number of different sharing options when you want to share a file or folder with, let's say, a colleague or even somebody outside the company. First off, you can select between a secure share and a public share. Now, a public share is kind of a share that you may be used to with Dropbox or another product where a link is generated that you can copy into an email or IM or anywhere else. But the unique thing about Anchor that these consumer-grade products don't offer is a multitude of share options. So, for example, the share can set an expiration date on a file, so the share won't be valid after, let's say, a week. They can set a download limit, so it can't be downloaded more than 3 times. And they can even the share can even get notifications upon download, so they know that it's actually been downloaded. And then here within the wizard itself, you can put the recipient's name or email, and an email will be sent to them with the shared file. And by the way, all these features that I'm talking about, we're going to be demoing for you shortly, so you'll be able to see them live. Quickly, just to talk about secure share. So secure share is when the recipient gets an email, but instead of just being able to click the email and get access to the file, they actually have to enter credentials. And either the credentials that they already have, or they're given guest credentials. And the benefit of this is that the sharer now knows, exactly who has accessed the file, and it's not out there in the Wild West for anyone to discover. Now, Anchor also offers a pretty cool Outlook plugin, which allows users to share files and folders through Anchor directly in Outlook. And the benefit of this is for your clients that are working day in and day out of Outlook, they're able to, get past attachment limits and use the email program they know and hopefully love, and get all these benefits of secure sharing. And I already talked about secure sharing, but here's what the interface looks like. So you select the secure share button, and then you enter your recipient. You can enter a message if you want, and you hit save, and it's sent to the recipient. So that's secure sharing. Next, I'm going to talk about some advanced backup and restore functionality available through Anchor. So one great thing that Anchor allows you to do is not only sync folders with the server that are stored in your sync folder, but actually to back up other directories on your machine, even if they're not in the sync folder. So in the example here on the screen, you can see that desktop, downloads, documents, and favorites are all selected to be backed up from Carlo's machine into Anchor, into the cloud. And this is actually a really great way to back up your client's information because it all happens in real time. So there's no need to schedule backups or worry about if a backup actually happened or not. And it all operates in the background, so your clients really don't have to think about it, but they know that everything is backed up if they ever need to recover anything. And talking about recovery and restoration, Anchor offers a really easy interface for restoring files. So when you're in a directory or a team share, you can say restore all files that were deleted from this folder, or you can say, oh, you know what, I had that PowerPoint in this folder 2 hours ago, but it looks like it's been deleted since then. So you can simply say restore all files that were deleted, let's say between yesterday at 8 p.m. and today at current time. And then all the files will come back and your clients are happy. So that's backup and restore. Now, a really great thing that Anchor offers is what we call master vision rollback, which is a really great way for any of you who have clients that are worried about or have been affected by Cryptolocker, where their files are encrypted and they have to pay a ransom to get all of their files back, a really great way to mitigate this is simply to go in Anchor and go to our rollback feature and roll back, basically both go back in time to a period in time before that Cryptolocker attack happened or before a malicious employee deleted a bunch of things that shouldn't have been deleted. So you can go back, to, again, let's say yesterday at 8 p.m. and within minutes, all the data is back where it should be, just like it was as if you turned back the clock. So this is a really powerful feature that a lot of our clients, a lot of our partners have, and their clients have really benefited from. Next, I'm going to talk about two-factor authentication enforcement. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with two-factor authentication, it's essentially a way for to ensure that only people who should have access to their files actually gain access to it. So in addition to a username and password, the user then needs to enter a code that they received by email or by text message, and this code is unique and randomly generated. So the benefit of this is that, let's say even if a hacker were to steal my login email and password, unless they were able to, take my phone and be able to receive text messages, they wouldn't actually be able to gain access to my Anchor account. And two-factor authentication enforcement is the ability for an admin to force users to use two-factor authentication. So even if for whatever reason, let's say an employee doesn't want to deal with entering that code from their phone, the admin can say, no, you know what, your information is too important to lose. So we're going to enforce two-factor authentication. So here's what it looks like from the admin point of view. You go into your admin portal and you check the little box that says require two-step authentication. So what I did here in this example is I logged into the admin portal and I enabled it for my own account, and then I tried to log in as myself. And before anything else, before I gain access to my files, it says, due to an organizational policy, you need to enable two-step authentication to continue. So I have 3 methods of authenticating right here, and I can choose whichever one I like. And then, so in this case, I did it so that I would receive a text message every time I log in, and you can see how it looks. You get a verification code texted to you, and it's only valid for a short period of time. And that way, only the owner of the cell phone, of the account in question, will be able to gain access to the account and all the. The next feature I'm going to talk about is remote wipe. So remote wipe comes in really handy if, let's say, an employee were to lose their device. A lot of employees nowadays have important information on all kind of things that they carry around, like a cell phone or an iPad that they might leave behind in a train or in a coffee shop. And remote wipe is a really important security feature so that you can ensure that employees' information doesn't fall into the wrong hands. Or let's say if an employee gets terminated or fired, the admin can ensure that that employee doesn't continue to have access to sensitive corporate data that the admin doesn't want them to still have access to. So remote wipe in Anchor is really, really simple. All you have to do is go to the organization in question, find the device that you want to wipe, and hit the unlink button. And literally within seconds, the device in question is wiped. All the data since that device is gone, and even if that device falls into the wrong hands, the data will be safe and sound. So those are the 5 capabilities that Anchor offers that consumer-grade file users like Dropbox do not. And we believe it's really imperative that our partners that deploy Anchor are able to communicate these benefits to their clients. We think this is a really great way to ensure that your clients are aware of the risks of consumer-grade file sync and recognize the importance of a business-grade file sync service like Anchor. So now that I've kind of gone over and talked about all of the 5 security features, I'm going to hand it over to Carlo. And Carlo, I'm going to let you actually demo all these features for us. So let me just quickly give you a keyboard and mouse control.
No, you should make me a presenter, Neeraj.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. I'll make you the presenter.
Perfect.
All right.
All right, and you let me know, Neeraj, when you see my screen.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, good. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. I'll keep this pretty straightforward and just go down the line of all the features that Neeraj has introduced. And the one thing I want to point out before I get started here is that a lot of these features are security features that not only consumer-grade file sync services don't have, but also a lot of business-grade file sync services don't have. So, for example, we both have Marlon and Eric asking the question about Dropbox for Business, saying that, well, this may be true for Dropbox, the consumer version, but what about Dropbox for Business? And the reality is that Dropbox for Business is also lacking a lot of these features. For example, some of the ones that Neeraj talked about, being able to set local backups, being able to back up any folder that you have on that PC, regardless of whether or not it's in the actual Syncs folder. Another thing is the Outlook plugin, which we're going to demonstrate actually. So how do you, using the Outlook plugin and all of the benefits that come with the Outlook plugin, that's something that's missing from Dropbox for Business. Or even this feature mass revision rollback, which we'll also demonstrate, which allows you to recover from any type of malware attack, especially something like Cryptolocker, where an entire root or folder could be deleted. That's a feature that Dropbox for Business simply doesn't have. And once you start moving to business-grade services, you're looking at a higher price point as well. And Anchor, even when it's marked up by our partners, because eFolder sells Anchor on a wholesale basis, is highly competitive with a solution like Dropbox for Business, like Box. Just on a feature-by-feature basis, we typically win out. And at a price point, we're very competitive. So just want to make a quick note there, but let's jump right into the demo of some of these other features. So here I am. This is actually my personal Syncs folder, so this is not a demo environment. So I'm going to jump into my Sync folder, and I just want to show everybody online how you would actually go about doing a secure share. So I'm going to go in here, and I have some let's go down here, and this is actually like a workout file that I have. It's just I track my workouts, and so I'm going to go ahead and share this out. And it's a simple, really, with Anchor to just go down to the file that you want to share. You right-click it. You see the Anchor Sync icon. You go ahead and hit Share Link. When you hit Share Link, what's going to happen is you're going to get a browser pop-up, and you're going to have multiple options here. So actually, let me see. Eric, I believe, is asking, or no, Peter was asking, can you create the equivalent to a public folder? And the answer to that is yes. I've shared out an Excel spreadsheet here, but I could do this with a folder as well. If I wanted to share this folder that I have labeled as Zebra, I can do the same thing. So it doesn't matter. File or folder, you can create a public share. And you have a few different options when you create these shares. You can do a public share URL. So this is something that I could just copy to my clipboard. I can open up an email, drop it into an email, and send it off, right? It's probably the easiest way to share a file or folder. But with that said, it's probably not the most secure. Anchor has a bunch of security features that you can layer on top of this public share to make it a bit more secure. So some examples of that would be adding an expiration date or a download limit to this public share. So let's say, for example, you have an invoice that is really only supposed to be out for a week or until the end of the month. You could say, all right, I want to set the expiration date to August 31st. And maybe it's only supposed to be shared with one person. If that's the case, you could set the download limit to 1. What's going to happen is whether it, in the event that we reach August 31st and this hasn't been downloaded, this public share URL will actually expire. So anybody who goes to this public share URL after August 31st, they're going to get hit with something that says this share link is expired. They're not going to be able to download the file. Same thing with the download limit is once Anchor detects that that file has been downloaded once and only once, that share is going to expire. Now, the feature that we want to demonstrate is the most secure way that you can actually share a file. So let's say it's something really sensitive. You have a public accounting firm, and they're sharing tax documents with some of their clients. And so what they can do is they can actually hit secure share. And I'm going to do a secure share, and I'm going to share it with a little demo account that we have set up. So it's called USC 2014 at iCloud.com. Okay, and I'm going to say here's the share. All right. So so this is who I'm sharing it with. Neeraj, USC 2014. Neeraj giving a shout out to his alma mater here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save on this. And what I'm going to do is, so I've now done a secure share with that account. I'm going to go to iCloud.com, and I'm going to log in, and we're going to take a look at what this actually looks like. So iCloud, I'm going to sign in here. Neeraj, and Neeraj has it redirected, so sorry. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to log in here, and I'm going to go to Mail. And sure enough, here it is, right? Carlo Tapia has shared workout. I have my little message here that I wrote out. Here's the share. This share is set to expire on August 31st because I had that expiration date set. There will probably be a download limit on the share as well of 1. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. And I'm already logged on. So basically I got past the secure share side of this because I was already logged on. But when I actually go, because the download limit is set on this, when I hit download, if I come back here, let's see if this is expired. Oh, it hasn't expired. So anyway, so the demo here is that basically you can do a secure share with an individual, share out a file or folder, and they're going to have credentialed access to this. But if somebody tries to access this just as a public URL, they're not going to be able to access it. All right, so let's jump into the backup functionality of Anchor. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and log on here, and I'm going to use my own account. Okay, so here we are in the Anchor web interface. But the great thing about Anchor is that setting up a backup is pretty straightforward. All you have to do is, if you have a local folder that you want to start backing up, let's say, for example, I want to start backing up my documents folder. So rather than have to move, a lot of these other solutions require that you move your documents folder into the sync folder to actually start getting it to sync and have a backup of that. What I can do with Anchor is I can right-click on the documents folder. I can go Anchor Sync. I already have a backup on this, so let me do a different folder, actually. I'll do my pictures folder, and I simply hit backup this folder. And once I hit this, what I'm going to get here is a pictures folder backup. So basically, I can go to my backups tab at any time. I can even peer inside of the pictures folder. Everything is still syncing with my pictures folder, or it's empty, one or the other. But more than likely, everything is still syncing. It's empty. But let's take a look at my documents folder, which I already had backed up. So I have my documents folder backed up. It's not a folder that's within my sync tool. This is just a local backup that I have running. And you can also do this type of backup on a server or any or a workstation or a desktop or laptop, whatever it might be, you can start backing up local folders. The other thing I want to demonstrate here is just some of the restore functionality that you have. So let's go ahead and see if we can delete this. I'm going to delete, again, this is the local folder that I backed up. I'm going to delete chat log, Replicate Monday, GoToMeeting credentials. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And the great thing about Anchor is that it makes it really easy to restore anything that's been deleted. So that's now been deleted, and all I have to do to get that back is just hit Show Deleted. And once I hit Show Deleted, it's going to show me in gray what files have been deleted. And I can basically hit Restore Deleted here. And so if there's multiple files or folders that have been deleted, I can restore those in bulk by using this. Or I can also just right-click on this and hit Restore. And there it is. It's going to repopulate, and now it's going to be back in my Documents folder. So even though I deleted it, I've now restored it. So this really comes in handy if you have a malicious employee or even somebody who just accidentally deletes a really important file or folder. That's going to be a great feature to use. Peter is asking.
Yep. Carl,
go for it.
I just wanted to bring Peter's question to your attention. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, how far back can you restore with Anchor?
Yeah, so the answer to that, Peter, is that really Anchor is Anchor. You provision the storage, and because in Anchor you provision storage, you also have the ability to set retention policies. So you're able to set, if you want this to, maybe you only want to retain information for a year, you're able to set that. But it's really up to you and how much storage you want to give that client or specific users. So it can be retention, to answer your question, Peter, retention can be set to whatever you want to be or whatever length of time that you want it to be. Okay. Really quickly, this is what we've shown already, but Marlon's also asking, what happens when two people try to edit the same file? So just really quickly, I want to demonstrate a feature that we have called file locking. And the way file locking works is that anytime a file is open, if somebody else has access to that file, when they go to access the file, they'll actually be prompted that the file is under use. So this is a feature that we call file locking. And so it's basically an automatic lock on any file that's opened or actively being edited. The other thing you can do with this is, if I'm in a team share, let's say, so I'll go into this, I can also set a manual lock on any file, and I can say I want to lock this file for 30 minutes, an hour, 3 hours, 6 hours, or 1 day. So just on the note of file locking, I know that's an issue with a lot of other file sync services, that you have multiple people working on the same files and you create these redundant copies of files. With Anchor, file locking basically eliminates that problem. All right, so let's jump back into the backup and restore functionality. So let's say you have a client that does actually get hit with Cryptolocker and this entire folder gets wiped out. Well, you can always use the restore deleted button here, but the other thing that we have, which Neeraj mentioned in his presentation, is mass revision rollback. And this is a feature that we came out with when Cryptolocker was running rampant. And the way it works is it's really this simple. You hit rollback. You can set what day and time that you actually want to roll back to. Now, this backup is fairly new, so I can't really demonstrate this functionality. But what you can say is, I want to roll back to, let's say, August 12th at 9 o'clock, because the Cryptolocker virus hit us yesterday, August 12th, at 10 o'clock a.m. So we want to roll back to 9 o'clock, right before that happened. So you're totally able to do that using Anchor. You're able to roll back to that point in time. We've seen partners do this up to 5 minutes before they get hit with, their clients have been hit with Cryptolocker. And believe you me, the Cryptolocker is still is alive and well today. So that's another great backup and restore feature that you can use. The next feature that I want to demonstrate is two-factor authentication. So to demonstrate two-factor authentication, I'm going to log into an administrator account. So far we've really been dealing in sort of the end user aspect of things. We've demonstrated how a user would create a secure share. We've demonstrated how they would use backup and restore functionality to both backup and recover different files and folders. We demonstrated the master revision rollback feature, which can save your clients from a Cryptolocker type attack. Let's look at some of the things that administrators can do on their end to improve their client security, and one of these is two-factor authentication. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here. All right. All right, so here we are. I'm now in the admin side of things, and for a lot of partners, if there are any partners on the call, this is going to look very familiar. The way Anchor is structured is it's a multi-tenant interface. So you have what we're looking at is basically the overview of all of my different tenants here. But under this, I have each of my tenants. In this case, the only tenant that I have is Neeraj Test. So in a partner environment, this might actually be client ABC, and he may have another client that says client XYZ. So you can have multiple clients within Anchor and manage them separately. That's one of the features of a file sync product that's really designed for the IT channel. So I have this client, Neeraj Test, let's say, and he's asked me to enforce two-factor authentication on his employees. So maybe he's a law office and he deals with sensitive corporate data, and so it's really important that if an employee loses a laptop, that they not only authenticate through through the web UI, but they also have to receive a text message, let's just say, for example. So I'm now in the Neeraj Test. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the settings for this organization. I'm going to go into policies, and I am going to scroll down into, so as you can see, there are a lot of different settings and a lot of control that you have, but I'm going to require two-step authentication for this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit save here. All right, so I've now enforced two-factor authentication on this Neeraj Test account. And just to demonstrate this, I'm going to go ahead and log out. And I'm going to try and log in as Neeraj, who's in our example. I'm going to log out of this. Who is in our example, synctool.com. All right, I'm going to try and log in as Neeraj, who is in our example a member of this Neeraj Test client. So Neeraj Periwal, gmail.com, and it's Warriors. Okay. So when I go to log on, as you can see, because I've enabled two-factor authentication, I now need an authentication code. So besides entering my password, I also need to authenticate. And Neeraj, if you can give me the authentication code.
Yep, Carlo, I just got a text. It's 260133.
133. Okay, perfect. So only after authenticating that way am I able to access my account. So this is something that can be enforced on your different clients on a client-by-client basis, and can be incredibly useful for those security-minded clients, and can also just be a value add to be able to go to your clients and say, hey, I can improve your security by enforcing two-factor authentication. So let's log out. So that's two-factor authentication. The last thing that we want to demonstrate is remote wipe. So this is a really, as Neeraj mentioned, this is a really useful feature to have. You know, it happens more often than you think that people lose a laptop, they lose their cell phone, they lose their tablet, and Anchor is really designed so that people can have access to files and folders wherever they go and from any device. But in the event that they lose it or it gets stolen, you want to make sure to wipe those devices of any sensitive corporate data that they may have access to. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the admin account again. And
real quick, real quick, Carlo, sorry to interrupt, but while you're logging in, just want to answer a question. What does multi-factor authentication cost? Multi-factor authentication is included with an Anchor. It's just something that we include as part of the solution because we really care about the security of all our partners and all of their clients. So no additional charge for that.
That's right. That's right. It is a feature that we include. So Neeraj, I'll let you keep an eye on the question queue. And I'm going to go ahead and log in as an admin and show you guys how a remote wipe can be issued. All right, so I'm back on the admin side of things, and what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go to the Neeraj test account because this is a client that one of their guys lost his cell phone. He went out into the field. He was at a construction site, dropped his phone. He doesn't really know where he dropped it, but is worried because they have client information or they have plans or potentially private information of the company on his device. So I'm in the Neeraj test account, and I'm going to jump into the Machines tab here. And all I need to do is I'll have a full listing of users if there are multiple users, but in this case, the only user is this one device that we have syncing, which is called, which Neeraj is labeled TacoCat. So TacoCat is the device that's been lost. It belongs to Neeraj here. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to unlink this device. So go ahead and unlink it. What we'll find is that when I go to look for it, it's now forbidden, it's gone, no longer exists. And so that's how simple it is to really wipe a device using Anchor. So on a very granular level, you can, it's iOS here, but this may be a tablet, this may be all different types of things, and you can wipe. Unlike a lot of other file sync solutions, you don't have to completely delete the user. You can wipe just a specific device. So whether it's their cell phone or their tablet, you can just wipe that one device that's been lost or stolen. So a great feature there. So I think that's everything, Neeraj. I think I covered it. We talked about secure sharing, enforcing credentials and setting those expiration dates and download limits. We showed some of the backup functionality, being able to unload a local backup and having that continuously syncing or backing up. We showed the restore features in case something gets deleted or corrupted or whatever might happen. You can easily restore those, and you can also use master revision rollback to go to a specific point in time for an entire root or folder. And then we demonstrate two-factor authentication, where if you have a client that's very security-minded, you can enforce two-factor authentication on their users, so they then have to receive a text or an email on top of their password to basically access their files and folders. And then remote wipe. So in the event that a device is ever lost or stolen, you can wipe a device on a very granular level, on a user-based level. So Neeraj, is there anything else you'd like me to cover?
No, I mean, I think you pretty much run the gamut in terms of the important security features that we offer that many consumer-grade solutions don't. I mean, I think...
Neeraj, sorry to interrupt. One feature I just remembered that I didn't cover, which I would be happy to show, Nicholas Nicholas is asking, can you demonstrate the Outlook plugin? And I'd be happy to show that as well, because I have it installed.
Yeah, that's a great feature that we offer. Go ahead and show it to everyone.
Yep. So let me get into my Outlook. And again, this is my personal Outlook, so don't mind my emails. But all right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit new email here. Minimize this before all my emails come up. Okay, and so so the Outlook plugin is basically it's as simple as installing it from the web interface. It takes about 3 minutes to install, and the way it works is it's pretty straightforward. there's now this is the Outlook plugin. It exists on on the ribbon of the email, and all you do is send a file, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and send a file, and I can choose different team shares that I want to access. So in this case, maybe I want to send something from let's just say I want to send it from Sales Marketing Cloud Master. Oops. Sales Marketing Cloud Master. By collateral type, I want to send this brochure here, and so I now attach this as a share link. This is not an attachment, so there's no file size limitation here, and I'll just say eFolder Anchor, and I'll send this to myself as well, so you guys can actually see how this is shared. eFolder Anchor brochure. Okay, so let me go ahead and send that through. And we'll just wait for that to come through. But that's how the Outlook plugin works. So there it is, a file, and I get this file attachment has been sent to you using Anchor Sync. Click the link to download the file. And when I go here, once again, I have really easy access to the file, regardless of its file size or its folder. There's no limitation I'm hitting. I can download this just like that. I could copy the URL, share this out again, whatever the case may be. So that's how easy it is to use the Outlook plugin. The other thing I want to mention is with the Outlook plugin, you can actually enable all of those sharing features that we already demonstrated. So you can have notification on download, set download limits, expired shares, or you can do a secure share as well. So all of those security features or those rich sharing features are available to you through the Outlook plugin. It's not a limited use there. Okay, and just to answer the question, all these features, and Nicholas is asking, are all these features included? And every feature that we demonstrate today is included with your partnership to eFolder and your subscription to Anchor. So everything from the remote wipe to authentication to the Outlook plugin, all of that is included. All right, Neeraj, I'll hand it back to you.
Perfect. All right, Carlo, are you able to see my PowerPoint?
Not quite. There we go. I got it.
Yep. Okay, perfect. Well, Carlo, thank you so much for walking through all the features, including the Outlook plugin and everything else. I think a lot of good questions have come in actually about the features that Anchor offers. Before we go into those, though, just wanted to mention that for everyone on the call today, we're more than happy to offer you a free trial of Anchor for all of you to go ahead, download, try it out for yourself, see how rich and robust our feature set is. So just go to anchorworks.com/download. And Anchor is offered both as a SaaS version and a private cloud version. So for those of you who have clients that for whatever reason, they don't want their information stored in the eFolder cloud and they want it kind of behind their own firewall on premises, so they have it in their own private cloud, that's another option with Anchor as well. That is really important for clients that care a lot about their security. So let's go ahead and look at the question queue here. Eric is asking, can you elaborate on what happens on the wipe device itself when you initiate a remote wipe? Sure. So what happens is essentially, so on a phone or a tablet where you have the Syncto app installed and you're logged in, what happens when that device is remotely wiped through Anchor is that you're automatically logged out of the account. So essentially, let's say the phone or the iPad falls into nefarious hands, nobody else can go in and access Anchor. Even if they're able to somehow figure out how to copy your fingerprint or get through your passcode, I mean, they're not going to be able to actually go into the sync tool and access any of the files because they don't know the login info. So that's what happens with remote wipe. let's go ahead and see what else come in.
Yeah, and Eric, just your follow-up question, does it delete anything that has been downloaded to the device already? I mean, a remote wipe really, it's going to wipe everything in the synced folder. So if it's been downloaded to the synced folder or anything that's already in there will be wiped. But anything that's downloaded locally is outside of the scope of the remote wipe. So you need some other type of solution to really wipe the whole device. Anchor is going to just wipe the synced folder.
Yeah, and we got a really interesting question from Zahan, who's asking, when you download a file, what should prevent someone from downloading a file and sending it via email to anyone they want? Can this be blocked with the secure features? So with the secure sharing, when you share a link to a file, what happens is that that link is subject to any and all security policies enabled by the sharer. So let's say, Carlo sends me a link to a file and he puts a download limit of 1 on it. And I go ahead and download it. And then I'm like, hey, I want to share that link with my colleague Carmen. So I can go ahead and email her that link. But when she tries to access it, because it's already been downloaded 1 time, she's not even going to be able to access the file. So that's kind of how the secure features work, the secure share feature. And that's how we kind of prevent data from falling into the wrong hands if it's forwarded on or, whatever happens.
Yeah, but
Carlo,
yeah. I mean, maybe I'm interpreting it differently, but it's similar to Eric's question about the remote wipe. If somebody downloads it locally outside of Sync Tool, obviously they can't reshare that link, especially if it's a secure link. They can't just reshare it because it's credentialed. But if they do download it locally and then create a new email and attach it that way, there's really not much you can do about it. You would require some other solution for that. But within the secure share realm, like that link that you've created, that is credentialed and nobody else can access that.
Right. Yep. Good clarification. Lyndon is asking, can we back up to a private cloud and SaaS? The answer is yes. The backup functionality works with Anchor no matter where the data is stored, whether, on the client side or in a public cloud. Just a standard feature included, and everything works just like we demonstrated, whether it's private cloud or SaaS.
Peter has one more question here. Neeraj, I'm seeing in the queue. Is it always solve permissions one at a time, or can you have a permanent sharing of a folder? This is what we call, this is the equivalent, for example, an accounting department continuously sharing folders in an accounting folder. So this is the equivalent of what we call a team share. Peter, basically it's a folder that can be accessed by multiple team members or multiple people, and that's being continuously synced. There's files and folders in there that multiple people can access, edit, share out. So that's called a team share within Anchor, and it's a pretty primary feature of most file sync solutions today, and we definitely have it.
Yeah. Carlo, do you see any more questions that need to be answered here?
Another question here. Workstation user with a mobile device, is that 2 licenses? No, Anchor is licensed on a per user basis, so doesn't matter how many devices a specific user has. They could have their tablet, phone, laptop, desktop, and that's all falls under 1 license. So it is a per user license, not a per device license. And let me see here, do deleted files. So Lyndon, we will be sending the presentation to everybody who attended today, and then Jay, do deleted files and backup potential files count against storage quota? The answer is yes. you set your retention policies for deleted files and folders. And you also set the storage quota you can set that on a user basis, or you can set it on a client basis. So maybe you have clients who are dealing with a larger data set and you want to allocate more storage for them. But maybe you have clients with smaller data sets and you want to allocate less storage for those clients. It doesn't really matter how you cut up your storage. We sell it to you on a wholesale basis, and you divvy it out to your clients however you'd like. And you can set the retention policies on a client basis.
We've got another question here from Eric about Active Directory integration. So yes, Anchor offers AD integration. So for you guys have clients with all of their user accounts and password loaded within Active Directory. They're able to migrate that account info into Anchor, so that way they don't need to create like a separate login. It's all part of their AD identity. So, yes.
All right, let's see here. Seeing some more questions floating in. Neeraj, the Wade asking top 2 to 3 advantages of Anchor over Dropbox for Business. The simplest way to understand the advantages, Wade, is that Dropbox for Business is priced at $15 per user per month. Okay, Anchor is priced on a wholesale basis to you at $5 to $7 per user per month. So you have a lot of room to mark up your service at a price that's competitive with Dropbox for Business. Now, beyond price, because price is not a differentiator, beyond price, where Anchor beats Dropbox is on all of the features that it offers that Dropbox is not. Just to give you, I mentioned some of these earlier in the presentation, local backups as an example, being able to back up any type of directory that resides on a local computer or device. File locking, being able to lock files so that you're not having multiple and redundant files being created when 2 or more people are accessing or editing the same file. File server enablement, huge feature. If you have clients who have file servers, traditional file servers that they're accessing using VPN or FTP, Anchor actually allows you to cloud enable the file server so that you can basically map the file server to a team share within Anchor. People no longer have to deal with VPN, FTP. If you go over to Dropbox for Business and ask, how do I deal with file servers today, my client's file servers, what they're going to tell you is migrate everything from the file server into Dropbox. And we basically bridge that gap with a very unique feature called file server enablement. The Outlook plugin, which we demonstrated today, being able to set those notifications, download limits, expiration dates, all from Outlook, and being able to attach files through that Outlook plugin is a huge feature. Mass revision rollback. If your clients ever get hit by Cryptolocker, whether it's a server, it's a desktop, it's a laptop, you can use mass revision rollback, another feature that Dropbox for Business doesn't offer. The takeaway here, Wade, is that for the same price point that you're going to charge your clients, you're going to offer them a better solution that is more feature-rich, that is managed by you. You are going to be managing the adds, moves, and changes. You're going to be there when they delete something, when they get hit with a virus, when they have a malicious employee, when they need to offboard somebody, when they need to remote wipe a device. That you really can't put a price tag on the service that you're providing. If they go to Dropbox for Business, chances are they're going to have to deal with FAQs. They're not going to have live support access. So that is a huge value add that you have to sell your clients on, besides all of the other features that Anchor offers that a solution like Dropbox for Business or Dropbox Consumer does not offer. And we have, go ahead, Neeraj.
I was just going to say, I mean, those are all really, really great advantages that we offer over Dropbox for Business. And, one other thing about Anchor is that it was designed from the ground up for MSPs and VARs. I mean, we were founded as a VAR, and we're very, in tune with what MSPs and VARs really need. And so we offer things like a multi-tenant interface, like brandability, so that you can put your own name and your own logo on the service and really make it a part of your own portfolio for your client. So, those are just a couple things that make it really tailored for the IT reseller space. And just reselling Dropbox is not, you're not going to gain all of those advantages. And you're not going to really have a file sync solution that you can call, really your own unique service. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the other question that you have to ask yourself is, besides the benefits that you're relaying to your clients, what margins are you going to receive on a service that they can get themselves, right? So you can offer Dropbox for Business to your clients, and I've seen the Dropbox for Business webinars where they talk about the 20 to 30% margins. We're seeing partners double and triple that with double and triple what they're paying for Anchor, marking it up, getting some really nice margins. And the reality is that when you deal with a vendor that goes direct to the consumer space, and to small, medium-sized businesses, your margins are going to be cut. You're going to get a solution that's not designed for IT service providers, and Anchor is a solution designed for IT service providers. We don't publish our pricing. And so we allow you to generate some really nice margin with a product that your clients will, with a solution that your clients will appreciate and that is more feature-rich than something like Dropbox. So all of these questions about Dropbox and OneDrive, we totally understand where they're coming from. Those are the companies that are really have a face on the market. And so what we've done is we've produced a lot of competitive sheets and a lot of marketing material that you can share with clients on the differences and the advantages of using Anchor, a business-grade file sync service, versus using something like Dropbox versus something like OneDrive. We have material, and so Neeraj and I will make sure that everybody who attended today's webinar does receive a copy of our Dropbox problem playbook, and that's full of marketing material that you can use to promote your business-grade file sync service against these other services which pale in comparison to something like Anchor. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that pretty much covers all the questions, and we're at the top of the hour now. But I guess I should have showed this earlier, but I just wanted to thank everyone. Thank you, Carlo, so much for demoing all the features that I mentioned earlier. I think the demo was pretty clear and pretty helpful for all of our attendees. And, like Carlo mentioned, we're going to be sending out those competitive sheets against Dropbox, which are part of the Dropbox problem that eFolder has produced. And, yeah, this has been, I think, a really informational and really great webinar. So thank you again, Carlo, for your time.
All right, thanks a lot, Neeraj, for having me. Thanks, everyone, for attending.
Of course. Thank you for attending. See you next time. Bye-bye.